What's up, everybody? Welcome into a special show that we are doing tonight. We are doing a Scott Fishbowl 12 mock draft show on this, what day of the week is it? Thursday night, June 23rd, 2022. Guys, I'm Simon. I'll be hosting this mock draft tonight, joined by my co-hosts, Joey Wright, and then our special guest, Steven Johnson. What's up, guys?
I changed my shirt from the last show.
You did change the shirt.
Yeah.
You inspired
all
me.
the wardrobe.
I changed my hat.
Wardrobe change.
I still don't have pants on, and my armpits still stink.
I never wear pants when I
stream.
stream.
But the hat is different. Guys, Steven is joining us today. And for those of you that do not know Steven, one, come on, what are you doing? But two, Steven, you can find him on Twitter at Steven_Roto. It is right there below his handsome face on the screen. He is with SFB Avi Makers right now. That is very much in season. So you can find him over there. He is a fantasy football expert, formerly at 670 The Score. And Steven, I say it every time you come on, but I got to say it again. You got the best meats. Steven's got the meats. And if you want the best meats, you can find those in a link in his bio as well. Steven, thank you so much for joining us tonight, my man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is a nice way to kind of wrap up the week and dive headfirst into everything Scott Fishbowl too. I'm part of the first drafting group next Saturday, so it should be a whole ton of fun to try and figure out what I'm doing.
2 live drafters here, right? Both of you guys are live drafting?
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm in the Orlando live draft at the Coronado Hotel on Disney property.
2 live drafters. And guys, we have such a solid crew drafting with us tonight. The 3 of us will be drafting. I'll be drafting from the 2 spot because I know my spot already. Joey and Steven, you guys do not know your spots yet since you're drafting live, but Joey's going to be drafting from the 10, Steven from the 12, and then also in there with us, we'll introduce everyone as we pull the draft board up. So I'm going to go ahead and get that up there. Here is our draft board for today. I'm drafting from the 2, Joey from the 10, Steven from the 12. And let me move that logo so you guys can see the whole draft board. And we have a whole awesome crew of people in here drafting with us. We've got Hoove drafting from the 1, Rocky drafting from the 3, Dame is going to be drafting from the 4 spot. We've got Scott Cobe from the 5, Mr. Scampers, our favorite chat cat, drafting from the 6.
Meow.
Marco will be drafting from the 7 spot. We've got Geek Mill from the 8, Dave Kluge from the 9, Joey Wright from the 10, Craig from the 11, and then Steven drafting from the 12. This should be a fun draft.
Yeah, this is a good-looking group.
People in the chat already. We got Hoove in the chat. What's up, Hoove? Welcome in. And then Jordan set some odds for us. Opening odds for best mock draft. Craig at minus 250. Hoove at minus 135. So Hoove's got the best odds. Kluge at plus 100, Jorge at plus 125, Joey at plus 265, Steven at plus 1,000 from Jordan. Steven's putting some disrespect on your name.
Like he's just trying to fight him, I think.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
He's already got a few comments rolling in my way. So
and we've got Scott at plus 500 and Scampers at plus 625. And Scott saying you are sleeping on him in Scampers. And Hoop saying he's a wild card. Absolutely a wild card.
No one bet on Jorge because he's not in the draft anymore. And you'll just lose your money. So tip for me.
And then Jordan said, to be fair, with these scoring settings, there's no such thing as a best draft. And that is a really good precursor into what these scoring settings are, guys. So before we get this mock draft started, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what makes Scott Fishbowl different whenever we're drafting here. So a couple of things. Number one, a lot of the quarterback scoring is different. Quarterbacks are going to be different here. It is 6 point per passing touchdown. So those touchdowns are going to be worth a lot, but it is minus 4 points for an interception. So every interception is going to be minus 4, and completion percentage matters. It's going to be plus 0.5 points for every completion, minus 1 for every incompletion. So you do get awarded. You are going to get positive points if you have over 2/3 positive or completed passes during that game. So you need accurate quarterbacks. You need quarterbacks that don't throw interceptions. The rest of the quarterback scoring is pretty similar. Outside of that, it is PPR, and then there's going to be half a point per first downs for all players. So half a point per first down for running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, not passing first downs though. Then tight ends are going to get an extra half point per first down and extra half point per reception. So tight ends are a little bit more valuable in this format as well. On top of that, we got kickers, baby. Scott Fishbowl added kickers last year. They're back this year and arguably stronger than ever because there is no negatives for missed kicks this year. You will get 1 point for a made field goal, 1 point for a made extra point, and then decimal scoring bonuses for all field goals. So if it's a 37-yard field goal, you'll get that 1 point for it being made, plus 3.7 for it being a 37-yard field goal. Outside of that, guys, anything I'm forgetting with the scoring?
I think you hit it all.
They removed sacks this year, which I'm more than happy to get rid of that on the quarterback side. So thumbs up.
Sacks are gone. And then, guys, I guess the last thing here is roster construction. So there's going to be 1 quarterback spot, 2 running back spots, 3 wide receiver spots. And then after that, you're going to have, it's different depending on the platform you're on. So we're on Sleeper. We are going to have 2 flex spots, a super flex spot, and a kicker spot since we're on Sleeper. If you are not playing on Sleeper, that will change. You will have 3 flex spots and 1 super flex spot, of which a kicker can be placed in any of those flex spots. So that is the only difference between Sleeper and MFL. Sleeper is going to require you draft a kicker, so we've got that in there as well. Scott, you're saying this is a star-studded field for the draft. Absolutely. And I think we should go ahead and kick this draft off. We can hit these other comments. You guys ready?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Off and
Let's
running.
go ahead and start it.
Woo-woo.
Where's that button to start this draft? Oh, there it is.
It's in the middle of the screen.
Draft. The giant button in the middle of my screen. And Hoove is on the clock first. And guys, for being honest, I still don't know who I'm going to take. This is my first. Oh, I guess I have to decide now. And you know what? That actually made it fairly easy. I'll just take Josh Allen.
That did make it very easy.
I will take Josh Allen. I was probably going to take Herbert if Allen was taken there, but I took Josh Allen. Steven, I guess let's start here. If you had the first overall pick, because you don't know where you're picking from yet, it could be 1 overall. Who would be your 101?
You know, I was part of the 101 group last year that went CMC, and it blew up in my face relatively quickly. I think you can't go wrong with Josh Allen as the number 1 overall selection. Buffalo's schedule gives some pretty solid matchups throughout the year, to the point where, you know, you can pretty much ride Josh Allen being Josh Allen. And I think he's got a little bit better cast this year as well. That's definitely going to help.
Yeah. Joey, do you agree with Steven there? Would Josh Allen be your 101?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's my 101 in Scott Fishbowl and any other Superflex draft. And then especially with Scott Fishbowl, it gets a little tricky with some of these quarterbacks because completion percentage counts. So some of these guys that are
Burrow shoots up for me in Scott Fishbowl.
Yeah, exactly.
He moves up a couple spots. I'd be tempted at that 3 spot to go Burrow.
And I'm getting close to my picks.
You are getting close to your pick. I'll let you think about that. We started off with 5 quarterbacks and then Travis Kelce, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and then 2 tight ends off the board in a row. People really liking that extra half point per first down and per reception for these tight ends. Makes sense. Joey, or I guess you are up real soon, so I'll go to Steven. Steven, do you think this is too early for these tight ends, or is this about where we can see them going, you think?
Kyle Pitts, I'm just worried more or less because of the quarterback situation. I'm not entirely sold on that being a situation that's going to benefit him best. I mean, there could be, obviously there were the lofty goals last year for him as a rookie, but I'm not sure how much of a leap we can, see with Marcus Mariota being the guy to be under center here in 2022. Okay, I'm on the clock now. Mark Andrews. I will say I'd flip-flop Pitts and Andrews. I feel like Andrews should be the second, if not the first off the board. Terms of mine, I like these 2 guys. I'm kind of happy they're both here. Oh, man.
And you got 2 picks in a row here.
I know. All right, we're going to go there, and we're going to go
Matthew Stafford, grabbing a quarterback early.
Yeah, the thing about Stafford that I like, he was top 5 in QB 1 weeks in the scoring format last year. It really was rather consistent. There's another guy, but he's got the same bye week, so I'm going to go with the guy right under him and kind of wrap up you know what? We're going to go this way. We're going to go this way. I like
mixing it up.
Here.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. It sounded like you were considering a quarterback.
I was.
Is it the one that went right after you?
Well, he has the same bye week as Stafford, so that I like Stafford over Hurts. the other one, I can't. I'm not going to say his name until he pot. There he goes, Russ Wilson. Hey,
Yeah.
see, Joey's got him.
Joey, I know you're very high on Russell Wilson this year.
Yeah, I like him. He's one. There's 3 quarterbacks I like this year that I want on every one of my teams, just based on their value, and they all went in a row: Hurts, Wilson, Prescott. So I love all 3 of those picks in the second round. And I did get sniped on Hurts. I was going to take him.
Also, I just wanted to shout out Anthony. Anthony, it's been a minute. Welcome in. He said, wait, it's Thursday night. Is this live? And Jordan said, who is this guy? And Anthony, there's been development since you left. Amari Cooper and DJ Moore got promoted off the floor onto my credenza or cabinet or whatever the hell you want to call that piece of furniture over there. Welcome in, Anthony. Jay, what's up? Welcome in. And we have a question specifically for you from the chat, Steven. Jordan says, how many 4,000 yards passers are there in Bears history?
Jordan's lucky that I don't live near him, that I wouldn't show up on his doorstep with these ridiculous takes that he keeps throwing at me. The answer is 0. The answer is 0. I know. I don't need to hear it again. It is 0. And it disappoints me every single time I hear it. I remember that question.
I was very hopeful, just praying, just really hopeful that Tom Brady would somehow sneak all the way back to me and I could start Josh Allen, Tom Brady. That would have been disgusting. Yeah. But not going to happen. Not going to happen.
I guess a question around Brady, because obviously not the same cast that he started off with last year. Obviously that hot start, the number 1 overall quarterback last year in Fishbowl, need to be the same here. Any worry about Chris Godwin, about Antonio Brown both being gone, and now it's Russell Gage as wide receiver 2 down there?
I mean, I'm not worried about Brady. I mean, I would maybe move him behind. I have him at 5. I'd probably move him behind Wilson and Hurts now. But I'm picking.
And I am on the
splitting
clock.
hairs with him. But I think Brady's going to produce just fine. Waiting to see what Simon does here. I am shocked. 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds, and I understand with the scoring, but
Joey, we did have a question about that. Gator said JT at the 10 spot. So
there's no way I could not, I had to do it. There's no way. So
even in this format. So what made you take JT over some of those other quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts? Was it just a tier thing? He makes more of a difference to your team?
I mean, yeah, he's the number 1 quarterback. I do think in this format, because this format really does reward yardage and not necessarily, it's half PPR. Taylor's going to catch enough passes, but because of that first down, the half a point per first down, Taylor's going to really rack in some points there. So yeah, I also was ecstatic to get him at 10. I didn't.
Oh, I'm
I
on
didn't
the
even think he's going to be there.
Crap.
You need me to pause it, Steven?
No,
I was going to say the reminder.
My thing didn't go off, and I'm like, what's going on here?
I was going to say one more scoring setting I forgot was that this draft does have 3rd round reversal. So Steven drafted from the 12 spot there. The 3rd round just started. He's going first in this 3rd round. And you went with Derrick Henry. Now we see the running back starting to go off the board.
Yeah, I'm all for that balanced attack, and I know not getting 2 quarterbacks off the start is not the wisest, I guess, in terms of the scoring setup here. But that's why it's a mock draft, right?
I almost took a quarterback there, Steven, with my pick, but there was one guy that I think is going to make it back to me that I like for Scott Fishbowl because he's an accurate passer. I'm not going to say the name down there, but it's a guy I'm a little bit higher on this year that I'm really hoping sneaks back to me. We shall see, though. Also, Justin, what's up? Welcome in. Said, what's up, fellas? First Scott Fishbowl this year. Woo-hoo! Welcome in. This is my second one. Last year was my first one. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
The seal.
The draft is absolutely wild. It is unlike any other league I've ever been in. It is harder to prepare for. The scoring settings are difficult to take into account whenever you're doing it. It's high pressure, too. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention, guys, is this is a huge tournament, thousands of entrants in this tournament.
3,000
to come out on top, to be number 1, there has to be differentiators on your team. You know what I mean? This is not just your typical, try to beat 11 other people. You're trying to beat 3,000 other people in this league. So you probably need to take some risks that could destroy your team if you want to win it all. If your goal is just to make the playoffs, then yeah, maybe draft a safe team and you can probably sneak into the playoffs. But if you want to win the whole thing, You're gonna have to take some maybe riskier picks. Damn it, Mr. Scampers. Tua was who I was hoping would make it back to me.
The anger.
Stupid cat. This is my stupid cat. You're an outside cat now, Mr. Scampers. Enough inside. Chris, what's up? He said, this is my first SFB too. I am very excited.
It's fun for sure.
There's a lot of newcomers this year. It's very exciting. Make the most of it. Join all the chats. Get as involved as you possibly can. I think that's the best advice you can give newbies to the tournament.
Absolutely. Oh man. What do I want to do here? I don't know.
So I'm looking at Steven. We started off the same way.
We did. We did.
I'm trying to decide between
each of you. Yeah, I was going to say each of you decide. If you had to pick yours, Steven, yours or Joey's, Joey, yours or Steven's, which one are you picking?
I would probably take Steven start because that third round value, even though it's third round reversal on Henry, is between Taylor and Henry. I'd probably take Steven start. I love my start though. Like I'm so high on CD Lamb this year that that's my guy.
Well, what about this? I'm going to join your club.
Okay.
Now there's a third one with the Saints.
Mike
add that one to the mix.
There's no reason he shouldn't dominate.
No,
at least at the beginning of the year.
He should be a top 5 wide receiver until Chris Godwin comes back. And then even then, top 10 guy rest of the season with Chris Godwin still there. In my eyes, we saw 2 running backs go off the board right there, DeAndre Swift and Saquon Barkley. And that means I'll grab the QB I was hoping would fall to me. After that, Trevor Lawrence. I'll grab Trevor Lawrence.
I was hoping he was going to. I knew he wasn't going to, but hey, JT made it to 10. You never know.
Yeah, you got to hold on to that hope sometimes.
Yeah.
You realize how quickly this pool of quarterbacks thins out just after that third round reversal if you don't have 2 quarterbacks, and there's quite a few here. So if I don't want to table talk too much, but I mean if this could easily go bad for both of us, Joey.
yeah.
That is something I noticed last year, and I panic picked a quarterback in the 5th round because they were just gone. Like every starting quarterback was gone in like 4 rounds. And I grabbed Trey Lance in the 5th last year, and it was not a good pick. That was a very bad pick for my Scott Fishbowl team last year.
Yeah, there's I'm curious about the rookies this year, just the rookie class in general, and how they're going to be valued versus it was kind of crazy last year if you think about it, where Justin Fields was going, where Trey Lance was going, even Kyle Pitts last year. And the fact that, that's not really going to be a thing in this draft, it messes with things a little bit because there were so many reaches.
Scampers.
There's not any
bad
rookie quarterback reaches here. Like there's just not going to happen this season. Joey, I know you love Aaron Jones this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely love him. I think he could definitely either first or second on the team in targets for the Packers. There's no reason he can't be first in targets.
Anthony has a question for us. Steven, we'll start with you. Serious question. How do suspensions like Hopkins, Kamara factor into your draft strategy? Avoid? So maybe Scott Fishbowl draft strategy. What are you doing with guys like Hopkins and Kamara?
Not touching them. They're completely off my board. Kamara specifically would have to drop significantly. I mean, I wouldn't even take him in the 4th. He'd have to be there in like the 6th for me to consider him, because it's still up in the air, and it's still a little weird that we haven't heard a whole lot about the situation that occurred. And I know there's been a lot of people thinking, oh, he's fine, like he's not going to get hit with that much. But a couple weeks will sink you in this league. I mean, yeah, we saw some people, make it through the Michael Thomas picks last year, but it's one of those things where, yeah, there's some risk involved, but with them, it's like, I don't know. I'm not touching them at all.
For me, 5th round or later, I will take that shot on Kamara, because in this format specifically, so you talk about it can kill you, but if you can survive those first 5 weeks with a 5th round pick just burned where you get nothing to use for it, or the first 6 weeks, and then you have Alvin Kamara come back, that could be the differentiator, but you got to make it into the playoffs for it to even matter. Right. So that's one of those risks that I was talking about earlier that maybe I'd be willing to take in this format that I wouldn't in others. But I also understand the completely avoid strategy. And Joey, you're just about to be on the clock, so I'll leave you alone. No, you just picked.
I picked. Yeah, I took Brown. I love his situation in Philadelphia.
You do? Because I hear varying opinions on that. So you like the situation there for AJ Brown?
I think he's going to be great with Hurts. I really do. And I think Devontae Smith has a chance of being great as well. Like it's one of the most exciting offenses. I was kind of down on Hurts when I released my first running quarterback rankings, and I kind of got hit really hard for it. And I was actually really glad I got hit hard because it made me actually really take a look at Hurts, and everything I saw I loved. So he definitely shot up my rankings.
Yep. And we got the second quarterback there for Steven. Now you got Mac Jones, Mr. Buttered Noodles himself. How do you feel about Mac Jones this year? Maybe in Scott Fishbowl specifically, and then just on a larger scale.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the schedule this year for what New England has. They've got a relatively easy schedule across the board for the season. And a second-year quarterback, I think he takes a leap. He's got a little bit better cast around him. They made the effort to go get some better wide receivers than what they had in his rookie year. And, given where he was at the end of 2021, QB 17 or 16, one of the two, through this scoring, I think there's the opportunity for him to finish top 12. With the way that New England has built that squad around him.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had a question in here about quarterbacks. Scott said, do you guys believe you need to get 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 picks? None of us did that. Steven and I both grabbed our second quarterback in the 4th round, and Joey through 5 rounds has not grabbed a quarterback. So Joey, do you think you are better off grabbing 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 picks? Or what do you think?
It's all how it falls to you. And I mean, 5 quarterbacks going off the top. Like, okay, well, I already know going into the second round, I'm probably not going to have probably the quarterback I want in the first round. And so I was like, well, I can wait. And I luckily got Wilson in the second round. But of the quarterbacks left by the time it got to me the third round, I'm happy just taking, value and what I like in the other players and maybe taking 2 later. I don't want to reveal too much what I'm going to do with quarterback, but I have a strategy. But I knew at the 4th pick, I was not going to take a quarterback.
Joey, I am
Mitchell Trubisky.
Milky. He's referred to as Milky Trubilky on all FYF streams. Just so you guys know, that's his official name. But I'm with you, Joey. You're not required to.
No.
Don't pass up value at these other positions. Like great value, like CeeDee Lamb in the 3rd. Great value for you. I wouldn't have wanted to draft a quarterback if I was you with CeeDee Lamb sitting right there.
Now, if Carr would have been available, I probably would have taken Derek Carr. Craig is sniping me at every turn in this draft.
Guys, do you want to take a shot at this question? Joey, will you answer this one while I make my pick? Justin said, how are you valuing Browns wide receivers given the uncertainty of that QB situation?
I don't want to say I'm avoiding them, but I'm getting them at value. Like if I'm not getting a deal on them, I don't want them. As simple as that is. Like I would draft Cooper, but other than that,
yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Like, so let's say that it's a full season suspension for Watson. Is it Jacoby Brissett or is it Baker Mayfield? Like that's the question that I have, because
shocked if Baker steps on the field.
That's my point too. It's like, okay, is something come down the pipeline where it's some bizarre Baker for Sam Darnold swap, like all these Carolina rumors have been going on about, because obviously Sam Darnold's time is numbered in Carolina. Like I don't know, but I can't see them also sending Jacoby Brissett out there, even though he's kind of been that go-to plug-in guy for several teams over the course of his career. Like it's a weird situation. It's a really weird situation.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the moral reasons of like not taking Watson or to take Watson, it's really tough to take him right now. If he's gonna miss, because if it's 8 games, okay, well you know what to do with that, but you don't know right now. So
I'm taking a pick here. I have not done yet.
Wow.
Mike Williams, I'm going to throw right there. He's got, this is the kind of pick that I may be willing to reach a little bit for in Scott Fishbowl, because the upside for a player like Mike Williams is just through the roof. I feel like he's getting drafted a little bit lower, but he's got that kind of like if he steps into that role as a wide receiver one on that offense, like some are projecting, I have it more of like a 1A, 1B situation with Keenan Allen. He's got top 5 upside. I'm not projecting that. I've got him outside of my top 12, but these are the kind of players, maybe the slightly riskier players that could pay off here that I'm going for.
Yeah, I like the Mike Pittman pick in the 5th too. I'm really high on
the
Mike
reason.
Pittman.
The reason I went Pittman was so I could go Williams. I felt like Pittman was that safe, steady. He'll get me 1,000 yards. It's not going to be wildly exciting. Probably a top 12 wide receiver. Good to go. Williams is a little bit riskier in my eyes. I felt like they paired well together as picks.
100% agree.
Steven, you drafted a tight end there in the 5th round. Dalton Schultz, who had one hell of a year last year. Are you expecting a repeat of that performance or a drop off for him? What gives you the confidence to draft him this high?
I mean, I think just again, you don't want to talk about vacated targets, but I guess just the cast around Dallas right now doesn't speak a lot of confidence to what they had last year, and the fact that Dalton Schultz is one of the carryovers. And if again, I'm gonna cut back to a lot of last year's scoring, and or what he did last year versus how it would be scored this year. He is one of three tight ends that had double-digit top 12 weeks over the course of the season last year. And I believe he was neck and neck with Kelsey in that regard as well. And so when there is that opportunity, especially in a tight end premium league, I'd take that definitely as, tight end number 6.
I know you were hoping for Allen Robinson to fall to you.
But so glad you broke
the Bears guy is not going to let Allen Robinson fall.
All right. I'm happy to take a little stack here.
Cortland Sutton with your Russell Wilson right there. And Steven, I think Chris here's kind of you kind of spoke on a little bit of what he asked here. 3 tight ends in the 1st round, 3 cents. Does that just speak to the vast unknown after the top elite guys? I think there is a lot of uncertainty after those top elite guys, but like Steven just showcased, there's value in these middle tight ends. There are tight ends in the middle that maybe Steven obviously likes Dalton Schultz better than TJ Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert, these other guys in the middle right there. But there are names you can take a shot on in the middle that I don't think are a waste of a pick or just reaching on these guys.
No, not at all. I think between Schultz and Goddard's another one that I really, really like this year. I'm not entirely confident versus, weighing those two against, AJ Brown now in town for Philly. But I think there's plenty of value there where you can say, okay, I feel really confident, heading into these middle rounds and grabbing one of these guys.
Also, Steven, you are on the clock, just so you know.
I know. I'm mulling. It's not going as well as I anticipated here. The running back pool dried up. I think oh man, there are some names I do not like.
There are still a couple names that I really like.
Yeah, there's one name that I like, top of my queue. I'm not going to take him though, because you're going to take him.
There's also one name top of my queue, and I have a feeling it is at the top of your queue as well, Joey.
But I'm not going to take him, so it's okay.
I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Ugh, I hate this.
Let's see. What do you hate?
Cam
Akers. Why do you hate that pick, Steven?
Yeah,
what about that?
Achilles. Historically, it's one of those things where folks just don't bounce back from. He was a freak of nature last year in the fact that he even, made the postseason games, but he didn't look all that great. And there's a talk he's 100% now. And obviously he wasn't 100% during the Super Bowl run, but at the same time, it just makes you wonder, okay, how good are you versus, pre-injury Cam Akers? But at the same time, there's not a whole lot of competition there either. Sony Michel is gone. Darrell Henderson, there's not much. And so there is that confidence there where you can say, okay, the opportunities, the touches are available. And, based on the other guys in that 6th, 7th round, you can't say that, just looking at what the rest of the running back board looks like.
Yeah, there's only a couple other guys in that range that are going to have the same opportunity as him. I'm with you. It's that same thing. Every time I do have to draft him, it's like a win. It's like, I don't like him, but you can't deny the opportunity that's going to be sitting right there. I don't mind the pick, Marco.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot.
What made you give that reaction, Joey?
Because that's what I was hoping was going to come to me. In 8, like there's the group of quarterbacks left. Like I like them all basically pretty much the same. Wilson was the one I was kind of hoping would make to me because he's the one I like out of the group, but it's all the same tier.
Okay,
But
two
Ertz,
picks.
my Ertz pick was something that, like not at the top of my queue, but just because of the format with the tight end premium, and because Hopkins is going to miss so much time, I think he's going to get a ton of targets to start the season off in Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's some other Ertz lovers in here. I think Klugie's been pushing the Ertz train on Twitter as well, along loving the Ertz. He might have been a little upset you grabbed Ertz right there. Maybe some payback.
I hope he
for the
is because Allen Robinson,
pick.
God, sat there.
Well, he had
the whole
Kittle
time.
earlier though.
Also, Scott said,
earlier.
"Damn you, Joey! Damn it! You stole a pick from Scott as well." Gator wants to know, what are we sipping on tonight? Crown Peach here. You guys got anything you're sipping on?
Not sip, but I found Baja Blast, the Mountain Dew energy drinks.
Oh,
I saw this at the
nice.
store, and I'm like, "There's a Baja Blast flavor. I'm getting this." So
it's mine.
that's
No, Rocky, you son of a gun! It made it all the way to one pick before me. Rocky, you're fired. First you're hired, then you're fired.
My kids got me a iced coffee maker for Father's Day, and it's been an experience. I've enjoyed every night since I've had it.
What to do here?
Joey, it's 3 a.m. What are you doing?
I know. So it said use a full scoop for my first batch that I made, and I was like at 2:00 in the morning, like perched like a gargoyle on the headpost of my bed, like just full of like energy. And my wife's like, never again. So
What is this?
This
is a new like pre-workout you got?
Yeah, no, it's yes, that's exactly it.
Sorry, I didn't hear you at all.
All
I
the
was
way
trying to
protein in the
decide
world.
who to pick.
So Simon, I love the Judy pick.
Just stacking all these wide receivers.
I'm not sure who's going to be the wide receiver one there in Detroit, but I'll take my shot on either Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy, and a guy I love drafting later, Tim Patrick. Not to spoil anything out there, but
don't sleep on KJ
all
Hamler.
the table talk, man. What the hell?
Hey, it's a mock draft stream. Table talk
I know.
is part of the
I
business. Oh, well, and there goes Dawson. You know what? We're going to take a very Simon pick here, and we're going to go.
Oh, there
Oh,
he is.
you son of a bitch.
Darnell. I almost took him instead of Judy right there, but then I was like, I can get him back around.
Yeah, it's entering that tier of wide receiver where things can go horribly wrong or really right with the way the season rolls out.
Yeah, my last two picks are very much so like that.
Yeah, I mean, if Tim Patrick takes over Jerry Jeudy, it's just a 2x4 over the head. That's one of the things I kind of worry about in Denver. I mean, you mentioned you don't know who that wide receiver one is going to be in Denver. It kind of scares me with those guys.
And I think like the fear is even more real because last year everyone was so confident. And I say everyone. If you were on the Cooper Kupp hype train, then congratulations. But the vast majority of the industry and of analysts were on the Robert Woods side. Whenever Matthew Stafford went there to the Rams, they're like, Robert Woods is the guy. Robert Woods is the guy. And you know what? It was not Robert Woods. It was Cooper Kupp. So that I think that's like fresh in my mind, right? Like I think it's Jeudy, but I was sure wrong last year whenever Stafford went to the Rams. So I could be very wrong again this year.
It's like a situation like with the Rams last year, Tampa Bay last year. Like if you like them both pretty much equal, take the one that goes later.
Yep.
You know, like last year it was between Godwin and Evans. And then there was a small contingency was like, and pass those two and wait on Brown. And for 6 weeks, those guys look like geniuses. And then Antonio Brown, you know. But
also Gators said Joey's about to break the iced coffee maker. Yeah.
Probably is.
No.
And then Javon says Joey drinks oat milk lattes. Hey, oat milk lattes are delicious, Shervon. And some of us have dairy intolerances, and oat milk is a lifesaver.
Shervon is the best man at my wedding.
Sound like you're speaking from experience there, Simon.
Yes, milk makes me poop every time, and not kindly, really meanly.
Simon, everything makes you poop.
Well, except for like rice. Rice is pretty safe on my stomach.
I called you on the phone today, and the ring of your cell phone made you poop.
Oh, 100%. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was already pooping. It just squeezed a little last bit out. Gator in here says Simon stacking up on wide receiver. That is how I like to build my teams. I love throwing wide receivers. And that being said, something I do love, Scott Fishbowl specifically, is that hero RB strategy. Kind of just drafting that one cement RB. I grabbed Austin Eckler early. My wide receiver core, I'm already feeling pretty damn good about. Like I feel pretty safe with my wide receivers that I have there. So now in these later rounds, I can just hammer some dart throw running backs and try to make some magic happen. And that's a draft strategy that I tend to like in Scott Fishbowl in tournaments, because you're going to need to hit on something late to make it work, right? So now I'm just trying to hit on that RB. My track is focused. That's what I need. I need that late round RB that's going to do it for me.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
really everyone who's drafting, take a running back in the next 2 rounds before we get back to Simon.
Yeah.
See how this works.
Last season, you know what the best decision I made all last season was in Scott Fishbowl?
What's that?
I was going to be in the mountains in Mexico for the last rounds of my draft with no
That's
cell
right.
service. So I had Tim draft for me. And you know who Tim drafted in one of the last rounds of Scott Fishbowl last year? Cordero Patterson. Tim drafted Cordero Patterson to my team. And I remember looking at my team and being like, what the hell, Tim? Like, what a wasted pick. And then it was my saving grace. It saved me last year having him on my team.
Marco, that Wilson Moore stack is great. I love that for late stack there.
God,
I think
that
Moore's
worked out
set
well
up
for
a
him,
big
didn't
year.
it?
Yeah.
And you're on the clock, Steven, just so you know.
Oh crap. All right. See, this is what happens. I'm gonna buy into all the hype, I think, with this next one. And I hate doing it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Goodness gracious. I feel like this is early, but that's okay. I feel like that's early.
Ooh.
I'm gonna
No,
take
we're gonna have to talk about that after you make your next pick.
I know we are. No
one ever talks about that player, especially on Twitter. So we really
I saw a tweet earlier. It was like it might have been Linda. She was like, you guys can't go a day without talking about Gabe Davis. I
saw another one today. I forget who said it, but it was like, okay, we're done. We've said everything that can be said about Gabe Davis. Pick a new guy until the season starts. And then I saw Linda's as well.
Oh man.
You gonna join Hoove as a double tight end team? Hoove's the only one with 2 tight ends so far.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go with a oh shoot. Old man Thielen.
Like 10 touchdowns last year. That's a good bet for double-digit touchdowns again if you're going to put it on somebody getting drafted in this range. Like, is there a single other wide receiver in these rounds that has double-digit touchdown upside, really?
In my mind, there's 2. Yeah, 2.
2? Who would they be? If they've been drafted already.
They haven't
been drafted,
yet.
then
So
that's okay.
when they're plucked, I'll say who. Yeah, this is going to be the interesting thing, because all the live drafts are happening on Sleeper and not MFL, like all the slow drafts. And the way that the ADP is on Sleeper, it's going to look a lot different in my mind than what I think a lot of the MFL stuff is.
Yeah.
But there's again, it's kind of a mush range here for who's available and what the ceiling is for some of these guys. I'm just going through all my notes here just to see how badly I reached on. Not too bad based on my early stuff. But
Mr. Scampers is upset with you, Joey. Apparently you drafted who they wanted there with Daniel Jones. But that pick, Joey, is reason why, like, I know Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
But he's got Dable there now. He's got weapons. And if he's going to put it together in a year, you've got a starting NFL quarterback in the ninth round of this draft. Like,
and the thing I like about Daniel Jones most this year is his schedule. He's got a great schedule for a fantasy quarterback. And the only thing I don't like about Daniel Jones there is he's also has a week 9 bye, the same as Russell Wilson, but week 9 I'm going to roll with one quarterback. I'll take a third quarterback at some point.
I'll tell you guys, I made the playoffs rolling with one quarterback for most of the season last year, because my second and third quarterbacks were Ryan Fitzpatrick and Trey Lance, and the option was for Ryan Fitzpatrick to fill in until Trey Lance was the starter. And Ryan Fitzpatrick gets injured, doesn't play a single freaking second for me, and then Trey Lance never starts a game. So I had one QB most of the season in that league.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
and I'm on the clock.
Scott Fishbowl's, the way the scoring works, quarterbacks can kill you too, as much as they can, win you the league. So
And
Daniel Jones is one that could kill you, though.
I mean, honestly, you could argue that no quarterback has a better schedule than Daniel Jones this year. I mean, you're right on the money.
That's what I
when
like
talking
most
about the
about him.
schedule. And
This
I
was a
mean,
guy-
we'll see what that new coaching staff can bring to that offense, if anything. I mean, it's been a while since the Giants have looked like a decent offensive team. But we'll see what happens, because I mean, there really isn't a whole lot there to back him up to say, okay, Jones isn't it anymore. I think he's going to have a relatively long leash, when it comes to it.
Yeah,
There's a name that I'm shocked is just still sitting there.
I think I know who you're talking about, but I'm not gonna.
Is it a wide receiver?
No.
Well, there's one more player that I want that I'm hoping here. I was surprised to see Miles Sanders still sitting there. I know people are down on him, but he's the starting running back for the most rush heavy offense in the NFL. I understand the concerns about him and the lack of touchdown upside for him, but he's going to get the work. He's going to get the work in this offense.
HoofTube just taking care of the whole. There it is. The whole Seattle backfield, making sure that he doesn't miss out on the right running back. It's not a terrible choice there, honestly. I mean, you might have to play a little bit of guessing game to start the season until that one filters out. But
Penny for the first 4 weeks, and then when he gets injured, Walker for the rest of the season. He's got it right there. You should never, wish injury, and I don't. But that's if you're doing. I mean, yeah, he has a whole backfield locked up in the what is that? 9-10 turn. Good job, Hoov.
He got it all. Also, I see
he'll
Damon
trade
here.
Both of them away by the beginning of the season. You can't do that, Scott Fish.
I see Damon here curious about the Miles Sanders thoughts. My thoughts there are, I understand the concerns, but the concerns are already baked into his ADP. I just drafted him in the 9th round, the end of the 9th round right here. He is a starting running back for the most rush heavy team in the NFL. He's going to get the carries. He's going to get the volume. And last year, whenever he got the work, he was incredible. He was super efficient on the ground. He looked great every time the ball was in his hands. So I'm willing to take a shot on a starting running back who looks good on the field, passes the eye test in the 9th round. Steven, what do you think about Miles Sanders?
He's one of those guys that's burned me so often in the past. It's just one of those things where I can't get my heart broken again. Between the coaching staff maybe not necessarily giving him the rock when he's hot, and the fact that there are some other folks there that are siphoning, I guess is the right word, opportunities, and the fact that you're dealing with a mobile quarterback that also takes away those opportunities. It's something that's of a little concern to me in that regard, that I can't bring myself to get hurt again.
I get you. I hear that, but my thinking here is in the 9th round, how bad is he really going to hurt me? Know what I mean?
Right.
What are my expectations of a 9th round running back? Oh, and there's the other guy I considered instead of Pat Freiermuth was Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon is a running back that I love this season, and I think is getting drafted way too late. It's all the love for Javonte Williams. People are forgetting how good Melvin Gordon is. Gator wants to know, Joe, are you picking from the 10 spot in SFB 12?
I don't know, because I'm in a live draft. So they've not given us our picks yet. I would prefer the 10. I love the 10 spot. It's where I drafted last year, and I made it to the second round of the playoffs. So I feel like, hey, I've got a good thing going with the 10.
Steven, do you have a spot where you want to draft from? Because you don't know either, because you're all
yeah, I don't know either. I think the Chicago live drafts decided on a 100-yard rush to determine the choice of, so first the winner gets to choose their slot, and then it just kind of goes from there.
The website, or are you really running 100 yards?
Oh God, no! I'd be in last place if that were the case. I drafted from the 101 last year. I kind of want to, try the opposite end of things. I think in SFBX, I drafted third. So, I'm just kind of bouncing all over the board, but I'm curious about the third round reversal and, playing that and seeing, how that all goes. So, I wouldn't mind drafting from the 112. I don't think that would be a bad idea.
And you are on the clock, Steven, just so you know.
Yes.
We've got Peng in here saying, woo, Melvin Gordon praise. And Mr. Scamper said, only took me 3 FYF mocks to get Gordon. We are a bunch that's high on Gordon at FYF, higher than average. And Hoops saying, I'd smoke everyone in a 100-yard dash.
Probably. He weighs 45 pounds. That's okay. I know why I did that.
Also, Dame says, does anyone in the mock know there's for sure their spot? I do. I will be drafting from the 2 spot in the San Antonio division. So I'll be drafting from the 2. We do not have a live draft, so we all know our draft spots. And Hoove drafting from the 101, just like he's doing here. Also, it looks like Team 3 is mocking it up hard right now. And then we had Mr. Scampers in here saying that Team 3 is spicy. Yeah, that's a high-risk team. With some of the players that may not even play. We've got Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, and Deshaun Watson all on one team. That could pan out very well or very poorly for Rocky right there.
Nice pick, Craig.
Good pick by Craig.
Yeah, I was looking at him there.
Craig Ruth, great pick.
I'm gonna reach a little bit here.
It's the 11th round. I think you have to at this point.
Now that you just brought up a great point, Steven. At a certain point in the draft, forget ADP and just take your guys because you're not going to want to miss out on them. And what is the difference between what?
I don't know. Steven. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far to.
I'm not saying we're there yet, but at a certain point in the draft, this is a 22 round draft, right?
So
right.
With the Tony pick, I had 3 receivers in front of him, and you don't play the stacks, but I was like, I don't have any of Tony this year. Differentiate in Scott Fishbowl. It's how you're going to win. So let me grab Tony with the 11th round pick. The Wentz pick. What I did was I looked at the schedule, like what's going on week 9, and the Commanders. I got it right. The Commanders play the Vikings at home, and the Vikings gave the 5th most points to fantasy quarterbacks last year. So that week, I'm rolling with Carson Wentz as my quarterback, and I'll fill that super flex with just like maybe a tight end or another wide receiver. So. But that's how I made that pick.
Fair enough.
I like it. Yeah. And I like that because you waited so long on quarterback, you grab 2 of these guys that you can kind of pick between week to week. That's a great strategy.
Mismatch. That used to be my in redraft, just in 1 quarterback leagues. I would just wait on quarterback and take 2 or even sometimes, which I should never do, 3 guys and just play the matchups. And it was always worked. And then quarterbacks got really good. They started to really separate themselves, and it's like, okay, well, Ben Roethlisberger's not going to be able to catch Josh Allen this week.
Are you sure?
No matter how good not anymore. He won't.
Also, Craig said I'm a 12 in Isla Nublar. Peng says I'm 10 in San Francisco, and Mr. Scamper says I'm like a 7.5.
Oh, you're a 10 in my book, Scampers.
Okay, he's a 10, but he's a cat. Is that the right trend? I've seen all those tweets.
So would he be a 9 since that's how many lives he has?
Probably. That's probably how it works.
Yeah,
we got Scott Kobe on the clock, and now this is the part of the draft where I really like. This is where it gets fun. I feel like not that it's not fun before that, but now it's just like get your guys, take your shots down here.
Yeah, there's quite a few that are, honestly, there's 3 guys here. I'm still kind of shocked or sitting on the board. But yeah, there's a couple where I think, someone you might not even necessarily believe is going to go into like the 18th, 19th round. It's just like, okay, well, one, like Joey said, you don't want to wish injury on anybody, but one injury could send somebody's value skyrocketing that you might not necessarily, expect. There's a couple of those guys kind of floating around here.
I did not see that Allen Lazard had already been drafted, and I was so excited to draft him right here. I was like, what a value. I was like, I cannot wait to take Allen Lazard in the 11th round. This is crazy. But Craig took him back there in the 9th round.
I'm looking at the teams right now. I've only made it through 6. I'm going to wait. I have a team that I really like that I'm looking at.
Mine? Yeah, it's pretty good.
No, it's
Pretty
not.
good.
Definitely not yours.
I mean, it's a pretty good team.
It is a good team.
I'm just kidding.
Kluge
I'll let you
seems
finish
really
looking through
good.
the rest of them. Also, Gator said Superflex does not mean QB, so why not get a running back, wide receiver, tight end to take that spot?
Yep.
Joey, you want to touch on that a little bit? Maybe the strategy behind wanting to start 2 QBs or putting other players in that position?
I mean, quarterbacks normally can score the most points. Now in Scott Fishbowl, it's a little different, but I'll speak for my team. For my situation, like I had Russell Wilson. I trust Russell Wilson. There's not a week I'm not going to have him as my quarterback. So once all these other quarterbacks I liked went away, that's exactly what I did. Was I grabbed value at all the other positions, and then when it came to okay, well, I'm probably going to want to have a quarterback to at least fill Wilson's week 9. I took Jones and Wentz, even though Jones is not available for the week 9. But let's see what they did. Tucker's the first kicker that went. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. You don't have to take a quarterback to fill that super flex spot.
No,
it kind of kills me that the sleeper drafts we have to select the kicker.
Yeah.
Hey, kickers were a boon for people last year if played properly. It is difficult, but they were generally helpful to teams if you were willing to play kickers over some of these like questionable flex spots last year,
and even more because the negative points are taken away. But Jeff Bell put out for whom J Bell tolls. If you go on Twitter, he put out a really good graphic that showed the kickers taken last year in Scott Fishbowl, where they finished, because the kicker, there's so much fluctuation at that position of a team's going to sign them and whatnot. So everybody go take a look at that to plug Jeff Bell a little bit. He's not even here. He owes me $5 now. What do you say?
I plugged you.
Yeah.
And Twin said, "Hey man, Folk won me mini games last season." Yeah, there's some good kickers to be had.
Use them.
And how are we going to mention kickers without shouting out Linda Lyons? She puts out her kicker rankings every week, so make sure you guys go check her out as well. She will definitely have some kicker content up leading into Scott Fishbowl. The guys you should draft, guys you shouldn't draft.
This guy
David Njoku. I like that pick, Scott Cobe.
The first tight end for that team. All right.
Yeah, I don't love that, but I do love the David Njoku pick. We don't know who's going to catch passes in that offense, right? And they just paid David Njoku. We assume Cooper is going to get it, but Njoku led the tight ends in fantasy points last season of him, Hooper, and Bryant. He could take a step up this year. Was that the guy you were hoping to get, Joey? Albert?
Yeah. Marco's been sniping me. Because he's not sniping me because he's a few picks away, but he's been taking the people I like for
it's still a snipe. It's just a longer range snipe. It's getting you from a little further away.
Ooh,
another tight end.
Thank goodness.
Where are you going here, Joey?
I had 3 tight ends, and they all started to go, and then I got I love Robert Tonyan this year. Kluge's one of the people that's kind of hit on. Rodgers leans on people he knows, and he's had a few seasons with Tonyan. He had a great 2020 or 2019. So there's nothing to say that he couldn't be third on the team in targets, which on the Packers is there's room for there.
Right. I love that pick.
I hate when I have to talk when I'm about to be on the clock.
As you trying to prepare. No. Here's what you do, Joey. Completely ignore the draft board until it's your pick, and then panic every time. That's what I do on Underdog. It's been working really well.
All right, what's my?
Yeah, this is one of those where I guess if we're going to start talking about reaches, I'm going to reach for mine here because I need a third running back.
Okay.
Really like Rachaad White. I don't know what it is, but I just can't see Lenny having another stellar season. Something tells me with the passing game, there's going to be some value there late.
Well, Lenny was used a lot in the passing game last year, a ton. And from what we've seen in his previous NFL career, he wasn't always utilized in the passing game. And the fact that Tampa Bay keeps on drafting some of these pass catching backs makes it seem like maybe they're searching for someone to fill that role. Keep Lenny healthy.
I don't know where to go with this next pick. Man, this is tough. You know what? I you can't leave the Fishbowl without a third quarterback. I hate picking this guy, but there's not much else left. Gosh, I don't like this
I mean,
at
what
all.
else?
Marcus
What else are you going
Mariota.
to do at quarterback? I almost
Yeah,
drafted him with my last pick, and
yeah.
then I was like, God, I just don't want to do it.
No, I don't like that. I just don't. There's all that talk about Desmond Ritter too, but I will say this in the limited action that we've seen Mariota since he left Tennessee, he hasn't been half bad, and that gives me some hope. And there's some decent things that the Falcons have done with that receiving core with Drake London, and obviously they have Pitts. So I mean, there's a
What?
little bit of hope there, I guess, if you want to
Yeah,
call it that.
there is, and he's been decent in the very limited action that we've seen
Decent.
him since he lost his starting job. He's a good enough starting quarterback. Gator loves your team at the 10 spot, Joey.
Thank you.
And then Gator wants to know, with Scott Fishbowl settings, what are the team builds? How many of each position? Steven, do you have rules in Scott Fishbowl, or is it depending on like what your team construction looks like for this team build?
Last year I went in with I need 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds, and then Nick Chubb fell to the 3rd, and I said, "Oh God, I can't take another quarterback if Nick Chubb is still on the board." So I think it ultimately just it's a lot of tweaking when it comes down to it. I really don't have a solid plan until I do a lot of mocks and just kind of settle into feeling comfortable about something, and having a list of like 3 to 5 guys per round where I can say, okay, if I slot these in, I can kind of piecemeal my way down, and then just kind of figuring out where the value is. I'd say the value early on, and I think the same thing last year, is that you can wait on wide receiver. That's the biggest thing, and I'm kind of counteracting myself here because I took Jamar Chase in that turn in the 2nd round. But I mean that's just how it is. There's a lot of value in those middle rounds. You look at guys that put up major touchdown seasons, like let's see here. We have Mooney, you got St. Brown who came on late. I mean, Ayuk, who's had his run, Thielen, the 10 touchdowns. If Lockett, if Seattle can turn things around there, or even, up towards the 7th round as well, where you have Smith and Judy and McLaurin and Cooks. I mean, that's a lot of value there that you don't necessarily have to reach for, rounds 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like similar to what you said there, your first 4 or 5 rounds are going to dictate how many of each position you need going forward. Like with my 2 quarterbacks, I may not even draft a 3rd quarterback. I feel fairly comfortable with Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence. Maybe I draft a 3rd guy, probably not going to do it. Tight ends, I like to leave with at least 2. Now, if you draft real late, maybe you want 3 that you can cycle between, especially because they get extra points in that position. Wide receiver and running back, I generally draft running back light teams here. I'm going to get – I need to probably hammer the running back position down here towards the end of this draft. But I'm not going to do that with my pick right here because there was one tight end I was hoping would fall to me. Maybe it's a reach, but I am going to take the stack with Trevor Lawrence and draft Evan Ingram right here.
I'm
Joey,
curious to see what Ingram does.
And honestly, that's a lot with this pick is we've seen some serious upside from Evan Ingram when he was the only show in town there in New York his rookie year. But it's been injury and disappointing seasons, drop passes. But yeah, I'm curious. He's got all the opportunity down in the world down there in Jacksonville.
And to look at something real quick. So I think you're about to ask me a question. I didn't have an answer for it.
Here. It was about team builds.
And I needed to look at one thing. So I have 28 running backs this year that I like. I need 3 of them. And I can get, and I'm happy with having 3 of those of the back end kind of ones as well. Like if I get my 20th, 21st, and like 28th running back, I'm fine with that because I love the wide receivers that are going off the top of drafts this year so much, and the tight ends. So I'm trying to get them as much as possible. Now in Fishbowl, I definitely want to have a quarterback in the first. Am I close to picking? No.
No.
I want to have at least one quarterback in the first 2 rounds. I honestly don't love the quarterback position I have, but I like the rest of the positions on my team right now. I would love to be in the position where I had, say, Wilson and Carr. Like I would have been much happier with that and passed on Lamb because of all that wide receiver depth later on in the draft. But it didn't happen. I'm not as high on Cousins, Fields, and Tua. So,
Would you have preferred maybe like a Zach Wilson over a Zach Ertz or no? wouldn't have. You're happier with the Jones and Wentz right there.
I wanted Ertz there. I could have taken Wilson there. I thought about it. It was between Ertz and Wilson, and that's like when Marco took him, I said, I was hoping. But at the same time, Wilson, Jones, Wentz, Goff, they were all in that same tier. So I would have been taking the first player off the top of the tier, and I don't ever really like to do that unless it's like the very top tier, like Josh Allen.
So is Ertz kind of the end of that tight end tier then for you?
Yeah, and I'm so happy with Ertz. We were on the pub trivia earlier, and there was a question about him, and I even said I am way too low on him for what his situation is this year. So I was actually really excited to take him. I think when we get off the stream, I'm going to look at the my tight end rankings and move Ertz up.
So confident,
especially with DeAndre Hopkins missing time.
Yeah,
right? Like at the beginning of the season, it just makes it. I
know
even
that,
more
and I keep forgetting it, and I should remember
it. Also, we got who. Go ahead,
it is going to be interesting just to see how the targets kind of shake up there with the fact that you have, Moore is the holdover for the full season and obviously Zach Ertz, and then inserting Hollywood Brown into that equation as well. I'm just seeing news here. I did not check this earlier, and I believe he was selected a little bit earlier in the in the 11th round with Hopkins. Though I know I mentioned like I'm avoiding him, but apparently news just came out earlier today. He's going to contest the suspension, saying that he didn't take anything that would have flagged that. I mean, I'm curious to see where that goes. I'm surprised it's gone this long that all of a sudden now he's going to try and challenge it, but
I would. I'm doubtful that it gets overturned, but we'll see what happens. I feel like usually with the substance abuse stuff, it's pretty cut and dry that they just even if it was an accident, even if you didn't do it, it was just in a supplement you're taking. They're pretty strict on that.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, pretty strict on that.
Last pick.
And you win a kicker, Steven, with your second to last pick. Oh, because we have to go a kicker.
Yeah, have to. It's going to be a quick last round because the majority all need kickers.
I don't even know if it forces you. It may not force you.
You know what?
Might not.
Also, I almost said it multiple times, and Hoove is in here saying, "Say it, Simon. Say it." We've got Alec Pierce will win fantasy leagues from Hoove. He believes it with all his heart, every last bit of his heart.
Do I have to take a kicker?
No, you don't have to.
I don't think it's going to force you.
I don't think it's.
I figured it was going to, so I just did it anyway because I know we have to take one.
In a real Scott Fishbowl mock or draft, 22 rounds on Sleeper, you would be forced to take a kicker because you have to start one. I guess you wouldn't be forced to take one, but you're going to have one by week 1. But outside of that, no, we're only doing 15 rounds. So if you don't want to draft your kicker here, don't worry about it.
I only put like 100 players on my queue when we came into this, and there's a player I wish I'd have taken instead of Tyler Aguirre. And when he gets taken, I'll mention it. But
is it
I would have taken him instead of Butker. No, different position. I would have taken him instead of Butker, but I feel like I need to take a kicker for content.
Well, I mean,
I don't know why.
For the content.
Do it for the vine.
There's something wrong with this iced coffee. I'm saying all kinds of crazy stuff tonight.
Also, Twin says, I think I like Scamper's team the most. I'm going to have to dive into these teams a little bit. I have not done very much. And Dame said, FYF newsletter for the win. Yeah, you've got the main brain behind the FYF newsletter on this show right now in Joey. So
no, that's not me, is it? Yeah.
Is it on your bookshelf?
Yeah, every time you call them books, I get so upset. Who reads
do it on purpose, right? Just a mess.
I know. Oh, thank you, Dame. Dame was the team. When I was going through them, Dame was a team I really liked. The start, I liked the players she got, where she got them.
The Zeke pick in the 5th for Dame, I feel like was just kind of helped cement this team, grabbing a running back like Zeke in the 5th round right there.
And Keenan Allen and Terry McLaurin as her wide receiver 2 and 3. It's like, and then when Godwin comes back, she's got another wide receiver 2 right there on her team. And yeah, she's gonna have to wait a little bit, but in the 10th round, give me Chris Godwin.
I mean, and she's got the wide receivers to make it to when Godwin comes back. Not just those 3, but Tyler Boyd is a great 4th wide receiver while you're waiting for Godwin to come back. Like that is a consistent, great, steady player with whenever they play teams. You saw this last year. Whenever they play teams that are weak against the slot, they hyper target Tyler Boyd. It's not like just an afterthought. Like they say, sorry, Jamar Chase, sorry, T. Higgins. This is a Tyler Boyd day. And they go for it because he's a great slot wide receiver, not just some guy who can do it.
The deep dive I'm doing right now, I'm going to put actually an article together and try to put maybe through the newsletter, is how Joe Burrow targets defenses' weaknesses. And I know that's a simple thing to say, but like when the Bengals played teams that were weak against the tight end last year, who was it? Uzama got so much work, and those were the weeks that made him, so, and Boyd the same way. So Burrow is really good about targeting teams' weaknesses.
I'm with you. That was one of my favorite things about Tyler Boyd last year was it was predictable. Know what I mean? Like his big games were fairly predictable. You just look at teams that struggled against the slot so far, and you can generally pick out who's going to do right there.
All right.
That is our draft, guys. 15 rounds, our first Scott Fishbowl mock. Steven, before we jump off, thoughts. What do you think about your team? You happy with it? Anything you would change?
No. This is why it's a mock, right?
That's why we mock. That's why we mock.
That's why we mock. I don't know what the hell I was doing at running back, but God help me if I finish with this. That's essentially where my mind's at right now. I think if there's one takeaway, it's get 2 studs early, because it ain't pretty once you reach those middle rounds. So that's my main takeaway for my team.
Joey, what about you?
I love my team. Everything went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. I took all the players where I wanted to take them. I honestly, I do really like everything to the Edwards pick. I know I said I wish I would have gotten Derek Carr, but then that changes everything. And, my first, 8 rounds, I'll take that. And hopefully, one of those 2 quarterbacks sits this year. Wentz is my least favorite player in the NFL. So taking
number one least favorite
was tough.
I mean,
we've talked about the shovel passes that just drive me nuts. But
for what it's worth, though, he had some pretty damn good games in the scoring format. So he does have the for a QB3, you could have done much worse.
Yeah,
like Marcus Mariota.
I think for me, like one of the big takeaways, or the one pick that I wish I could kind of take back is, I think my team would look so much better if I would have drafted Melvin Gordon instead of Pat Freiermuth, and then just taken maybe 2 more tight ends at the end. Maybe grabbed a David Njoku and a Noah Fant or something, or a Hunter Henry. Just kind of played that game right there. Because I'm with you, Steven. While I'm comfortable with this running back core, I am not thrilled. Like if Miles Sanders or Austin Eckler gets injured, I am in a scary position with Ronald Jones, Gus Edwards, and Raheem Mostert as my next backs up. So probably securing something maybe a little bit earlier, taking more of these middle rounds to grab some running backs instead of just punting till the end like this, because this is looking ugly.
All the teams are really good. They're really well balanced. I don't think there's one that's like, okay, they won. I mean, everyone's got their points. Oh, really? Okay.
I think Dame killed it. I think Dame killed this draft. I mean,
it's really good.
The upside of Adams, I think, is still being undervalued with going to Vegas. I think there's really just not much of a cliff in terms of the production that Devontae will have this year, but then also to have Keenan Allen, who's just a reception hog, and then Terry McLaurin, who's essentially playing in a contract year, barring any changes with his development in training camp. I mean, having those 3, I think they're all due for some breakout seasons. And Simon, like you mentioned, having Chris Godwin back whenever that is, if it's mid-October, even into early November, that's a strong push for the playoffs to have that there. And then with McCaffrey stays healthy, you couple that with a healthy Elliott. That's a studded team. That's a flat out studded team. So I'd say Dame has it.
And the news came out, I think it was yesterday, James Robinson's expected back during training camp now. Like it was before, they weren't sure when, but so that pick right there, I mean, she did really great. Good job,
Dame's draft, absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna have to dig into this a little bit more. This was my first Scott Fishbowl mock of the year, but Steven, Joey, thank you guys so much for doing this. This was a ton of fun, and everybody in the chat, everybody who drafted along with us, thank you so much for drafting with us and for joining in and asking questions and chatting with us while we went through it. Guys, if you are not already following our friend Steven over on Twitter, go and fix that right this instant. He is on Twitter at Steven_Roto. He's pointing to it right there, right below his face on the screen. So make sure you guys go follow him over there. Guys, I think that's it for us.
Oh, I'm so
First
sad.
first FYF Scott Fishbowl mock of the season. Check. There will be more to come, guys. So keep your eyes on the Front Yard FYF Twitter for more announcements about when our next Scott Fishbowl mock will be. But we are also doing one on Monday on the stream. So we have another Scott Fishbowl mock on Monday on the stream, but we'll be doing some more special edition nighttime Scott Fishbowl mocks as well.
Absolutely.
That's going to be it for us. Steven, Joey, any closing thoughts before we jump off? Any quotes you want to say? Any games you want to talk about? Anything?
Can I make a shameless plug?
Oh, absolutely. I would love it.
All right. Again, anybody who is participating in Scott Fishbowl, do everything you can to stay involved. Join the chats. Just enjoy every minute of it. If you want to raise money towards Fantasy Cares, several ways to do that. Scott Fishbowl Avi makers. You can get a new Avi. There's shirts, RotoWear. Check out the shirts that RotoWear has, as well as ffpodshirts.storenvy.com. If you go to my Twitter, we have just about every single shirt retweeted there, and many more to come with all the different fun divisions, both fictional and live cities and all sorts of different things. But all the proceeds for that also go to Fantasy Cares. So raising tons and tons of money for a great cause. And then obviously the Podathon to come as well in just a couple of weeks. So lots of ways to get involved. So just make sure you do it if you are playing in SFB, or even if you're not, if you're in the satellites as well.
Absolutely. What a great reminder, Steven. A reminder that what we're doing all this for, all this fun that we're having, is to raise money for charity. It's for a bigger cause. And you can benefit from donating as well. Like Steven just said, it doesn't just have to be a flat donation. You can get a sick t-shirt that you get to wear everywhere. Nice Avi that people like Steven and a bunch of other talented people are making for you. But great push, Steven. Joey, anything you wanted to add? Any AEW news you wanted to throw out there?
Steven designs amazing t-shirts. I'll just say
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the first one.
Yeah, I will have my first t-shirt. Steven did design it. I'm gonna release it probably after Expo. But it is it's everything I could ever want. So Steven, please go buy his shirts because they're incredible.
Guys, that is going to be it for us this evening. I guess it's night at this point. This night, we will be back live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time for some more fantasy football game show fun. So make sure you tune in right here on this channel tomorrow at 3 p.m. for that. Another big thanks to Steven and everybody else who drafted along with us today. We will be back tomorrow. Until then, adios, everyone.
Trading makes fantasy fun.
It does.